Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the IceHQ Ice Rink in our Reservoir, Melbourne, Australia, on Wurundjeri and Woiwurrung traditional land for the IceHQ Pro League Summer 23-24. It is Game 2. I'm Carl Brewer, and joining me this evening is none other than Britt Jackson. Welcome, Britt. It's great to have you with us here tonight. Friday night, as you know, is hockey night here at IceHQ, and this is round 2 of our third season here of the Pro League. Round 1 was a tight tussle. It was all tied up at 4 apiece after regulation between the Snipers and the Dogs. The Snipers won that in a shootout, which I think the Dogs would have been a bit disappointed in how they went in that one. I'm pretty sure they would agree with that. The Dogs' D was a bit sloppy. They let Dixon and Gallagher get behind them far too many times, allowing quality shots. And those two are playing for the Snipers tonight, and they will be looking to open up again against the Inferno. In the past, the Inferno have been a bit leaky in defence, but they managed to win the overall competition last season as they gained a lot from the mid-season draw. They weren't helped early on by chronically short benches. That was also an issue for the Snipers last season, but this time around it's different. Michael McMahon was very pleased with the turn-up the Snipers had last week. A full bench means faster, smarter hockey and allows the teams to execute their game plans, if they have one. Players like Lazzarotto shine where they have a bit more recovery time between shifts. Those explosive, fast guys can jump on and pounce, and that makes a huge difference. Dixon and Gallagher were electric last week in transition, and we didn't see Bradley Apps contribute to the stats, but he was very effective indeed at manufacturing scoring chances. As the Boston Bruins' Brad Marchand would say, you trust your process and plan, and it works out, although it didn't today. Some games you shoot 10 and none go in, sometimes 3, and they all do. It's the nature and the beauty of the sport. I can't help but think the format this season will be very much to the advantage of the Snipers, and at the moment I think they're the team to beat. When they have players like Liam Webster in D and the almost impenetrable Cincotta and McMahon lineup, wow, that's tough to score on. This is no 2023 Edmonton-esque team. They're strong in defence, these Snipers, very strong. It's almost impossible to outscore your own D if it's a sieve. Last week they were solid structurally and probably should have won in regulation. The Inferno, well, they're the defending champions. It's their first game of the season, so it's our first chance to see them. Team legends Hector Vilnick, Jackson Lane and Casey Minson are joined by some new blood we haven't seen here. Fareez Al-Afdalin, I'll try and get that right throughout the evening, and Gabriel Go are new to the Pro League, and we're looking forward to seeing them in action. The Inferno, much like the Snipers of old, were infamous for letting in a lot of goals last season. Great at scoring, but you need a solid D, and for a long time they didn't. They'll need Drake and Hu to really stand tall tonight. So what's new this season, Britt?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what these two teams have to show tonight. As you said, we've got Inferno with their first game of the season. I'm excited to see what Bradley Apps has for the Snipers tonight. You know, maybe he might score tonight.
He played very well last week, and he was always threatening when he got the puck. He just didn't manage to convert it, that's all. But that's one of those things with the flow of the game. Different things for this season too is the fact that there's just the one game for each week instead of 2, so no double headers. That makes our lives a little bit easier, and the referees and officials and all the games are at 7:30. 3 teams, and the Bruins are gone. The teams tonight, the Snipers wearing the blue with red, and the Inferno in the white with red, but it's quite distinctly different. They're very much white jersey, the Inferno. And interestingly, we'll have faster hockey tonight than we have last season. I think it'll be a lot quicker. And so, Britt, you can have your work cut out calling this one. We'll see how we go. If you're not aware of the rules for this one, the rules are 3 by 18-minute periods with a running clock. There's a cut between each period, so fresh ice at the start of each period, and each team is allowed 1 timeout throughout the game. The last 3 minutes of if the goal differential is less than 2, there is stop time, and there's a shootout if we're tied after regulation. No sudden death overtime in these ones. So very exciting hockey. It starts off being a running clock, and then it will turn into and it'll turn into stop time at the last 2 minutes if it's close, as it was last week. So in net for the Inferno, we have Seb Woodlands, and I think we've got Tommy Forrest in the net for the Snipers. So excellent goaltenders tonight. It'll be fascinating to watch. We're about to get underway. It's hockey time, Britt. Let's see how we go. Just getting the last few bits and pieces organised. It is full contact, full checking hockey, so watch for the physicality to get amped up a little bit. It was a little slow last week, but I'm sure it will pick up today. And we're underway.
And Snipers with the win off the face-off, dragging it into their zone. And a little bit of fight at the blue line, but the Snipers keep it in. Up at the boards, there's a little bit of a crash. And Inferno are trying to get it behind the net. Inferno running it out. Oh, and they're still stuck in the zone there. And the Snipers are putting on a good fight in their own zone. but the Inferno managed to steal it away up the boards, bringing it out into the neutral zone.
Fair bit of solid zone time there for the Snipers. They've kept the puck in now for over 30 seconds. A lot of defensive pressure on the Inferno.
And the Inferno chip it out into the neutral zone, hitting it up through their defensive zone. And the Snipers steal it back away, wrapping it around the net. We've got Webster, and he just chips it over to the boards.
Webster uncharacteristically just with a bit of a turnover there. He was perhaps a little bit confident with his stick handling up the middle of the ice. But all's well that ends well.
And Buchanan following Lane there to the back of the boards. And we've had a little bit of a stifle there with Nickerton.
And Nickerton just blew a little bit of a tyre on the way out, just tried to get a little bit too much of an edge. As the Snipers just bring the puck back in.
And the Inferno have it in their zone.
I think that was Jackson Lane there who just played the puck. I was told he was out today, but maybe he must be a bit of a late turn-up.
And Dixon with the puck running it up, looking for a shooting pass. And it's just stolen by Webster there.
Yeah, Webster had a great opportunity there for the pass up, but he was well covered. The Inferno wingers are up nice and high, and in that instance it was all nicely cleaned up by, I'm not exactly sure who it was for the Inferno, but he's going to do a penalty for it for an earlier offence is Jackson Lane. But yeah, nice shot up, pass up to, not Michael McMahon, I'll get it right eventually, to Liam Webster, but he couldn't get the shot away. He was well picked up. But now the first power play of the game goes to the Snipers.
And the Inferno with the puck behind the net, dragging it out. Oh, and it's just stolen away by Nave. And Snipers with the puck just up at the blue line, looking for a shoot or a pass, and Kachuchi passes it off.
Kadushi a little bit gun-shy there. He had a couple of opportunities to take the shot and didn't. And the Inferno have cleared it out. And there's a big forecheck on there. They don't have to race to it. A big forecheck there. Cy Lake putting the burners on and putting a good forecheck on the Snipers. Snipers do have the man advantage, but a good forecheck there by the Inferno to break it up.
Webster with the puck running it through into the zone. And he's still got it running it down. He's just looking for someone to help him out there. Still running around, dancing through the players. And he chips it back up, goes for a shot on goal, and score! Webster opens the scoreboard for the Snipers on the power play.
If you had to suggest that anyone was going to be the first one to score a goal, Liam Webster would be a pretty safe bet. We've seen him score goals from anywhere, and if he gets a little bit of loose space, and we'll see that here, Liam Webster finds some room and gets that shot away, and it's good night. It was Webster who got it, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
One of our Lions people tonight is Shana Godfrey, and she's playing tomorrow and on Sunday in the Ducks versus Sydney Sirens game. So it'll be great to see the women's Ducks playing. We're very thrilled to host them over the next 2 days as well.
And the Snipers have already thrown another shot on the goal there, but it was saved by Woodlands.
Well, it sounds like the goal was actually scored by Logan Gallagher, so my apologies.
Oh, sorry.
He's got a 2 in it, but it's 29, not 2. So we're all good. Logan Gallagher again, another player, if you want to put money on scoring a goal. He scored all of them last week, or scored a lot of goals last week for the Snipers.
And the Snipers chip it back, and running with it now is Laver, who just chips it into the
Logan,
zone.
for that call on the I think if you watch this later.
It's a fast game, guys.
It's a very fast game indeed. And you can see the speed this one's being played at is quite a bit quicker than we saw much of the last season, simply because the extra bench numbers means the players can keep their intensity higher.
Flack with the Snipers running it up into their zone. And just he goes for a shot and he's blocked by an Inferno there.
Nice stick check.
That was a block by Minson.
And Casey Minson, another legend here. He played last season very effectively. One of the best defensemen in the competition.
And the Inferno take it back out of the zone. Running it up through the neutral is Harper. And he just chips it over.
Harper there lobbed it up to Seb Woodland, who made no mistake. A pretty easy glove save for him there.
Tom Forrest.
Tommy Forrest, I'll get it right. I'm not having a bad day today with names. My apologies, I just played a game and I'm a bit gassed myself, so my brain's not working, which most would say was the normal situation. Anyway, but yeah, there was just a bit of a lob in and Woodlands made no mistake. Sorry, Forrest made no mistake catching that one. We'll get there. He's the other guy.
And another shot on goal there by Nickerton for the Inferno. But it was a quick save by Forrest. And
it was Forrest, absolutely. Woodlands down the other end. Have a look at the setup that the players use here. The Inferno defence right up high on the blue line. They're not going to get caught out like the Dogs did last week. Although they do have, just creeping in a bit there is Klomp. But he gets the puck, gets a shot through traffic, bounces loose, But it's cleaned up by none other than, this time, Liam Webster.
And the snipers take it out of the zone. And it's quickly picked up again by Inferno. Just chips it back over his clump. And call up for an icing, but it's cleared. And there's a little bit of fight there at the boards as the Inferno try to go for another shot on the goal.
Interesting thing for the snipers, haven't seen Michael McMahon on their bench at the moment. Maybe he's unable to attend the game tonight. He's a man who you very much miss.
And the Inferno are picking it back up at the boards. But it's quickly picked up by the snipers and they chip it back into the neutral zone. Running it up the board, we've got
Gallagher again with that fast break. You can see whenever Gallagher gets the puck through the neutral zone, he's got a lot of speed and he reads the play beautifully and makes those quick transitions.
And Labour was quick to pick that up, but the Inferno quickly stole it back. Running it up, we've got Atherton, who tries to go for a little pass there.
McDowell there blew a tyre and almost put himself head first into the boards. Lucky to get away with that, he didn't hurt himself. There's a lot of speed there on his back check. Some good urgency from the snipers in defence. The Inferno at the moment controlling it quite well.
And the Inferno, Buchanan running it up, chips it over, but he's heavily contested by Kachia there. Running it up and stealing it off him behind the net. Kachia's running it up through the neutral. And he's just chipping away at it, getting it past all these players, but it's quickly hit back by Flack. And it's going to be picked up here by Inferno.
We've got a challenge here for you, Britt. We've got Hector Rilnick on the ice at the moment. See how you go with his name. Here's with the puck.
And a fight here at the box. Rilnick.
Rilnick.
He's fighting pretty hard for the puck here against.
He gave us pronunciation guides last season, and he was inconsistent himself. So.
And the snipers have the puck, just setting up their play here.
Webster just got a little bit tangled up there with the puck. He actually put it into one of his own players' feet. So they're just trying to make a bit of room when they break out. As a result, they've just dumped it all the way back to the Inferno. They're now setting up their breakout. Here comes Rilnick looking for a pass up the middle. Doesn't get through.
And just with a long pass over, Webster just crosses the ice there, but the Inferno pick it up. And picked up by Afterlin.
Good place there by Klomp. He saw that the snipers were getting a change and tried to play it down the other side of the rink to create some space. The sniper saw the threat and got out quickly.
And a shot on goal there by, who was that for the snipers? Was that Rilnick?
No, I think
Nikitin.
It was, wasn't that Dow? I think it might have been Kevin Dow. Either way.
Oh, yeah.
It's a nice pass across through the slot, and he was beautifully positioned. Just couldn't quite convert that into goal. Forrest doing a beautiful job of getting in the way. Sorry, Tommy, for giving Seb all the credit for your work.
And the Inferno with the puck off the face-off. They're working hard here for a shot on the net. And just keeping it in the zone is a Lazzarotto. And it's picked up by Flack.
Lazzarotto, one of the goal scorers last season.
Lake running it up the ice. And the snipers with another shot on goal by Rilnick.
This time, Sebby Woodlands makes no mistake and ties it up. So who did take that shot? It was one of the snipers, so it's definitely not Hector. He's going that way.
Inferno with the puck off the face-off. And it's chipped up behind the boards and picked up by Go, who passes it over through the ice. And, Rilnick just tries to go for a pass there in front of the net, but it's picked up quickly by the snipers.
Hector just never quite managed to get a handle on that puck. It was bouncing around and very awkward for him, but he nearly got it. Unfortunately, no points for nearlies in this game.
And Flack passing it up to Laver, who tries to bring it out of the zone, but it's kept in by Inferno. Kept in by Rilnick there.
With a good aggressive forecheck, he was outnumbered 2-1 on that boards and managed to keep the puck in. So nice work there by the Frenchman.
And Apps carries it out of the zone. He's trying to run it through, but he's quite contested here with the sea of Inferno.
He just saw that the snipers were making a change, so he bought a bit of time by cutting back, and Webster now makes the long stretch pass.
Buchanan running it up. I think he was looking for a pass there, but didn't quite have anyone in front.
No one in the slot there to take advantage of that shot across the front of the net. But they'll work on that. It'll get better.
And running it up the ice. Inferno goes for a shot here, but it's just wide of the net. Flack with the puck contested. And Inferno... And...
None of them actually got through to Tommy Forrest there. There was a lot of sticks and legs in the way. They're a bit lucky there, the snipers. Inferno with some good chances.
And
Ferry's showing
just
us what he's got. Sorry, go on.
No, you go. And the Inferno keep it in the zone, but it's going to be picked up here by Webster. And the snipers are just setting up their play to take it back down. Inferno quick to contest there by Nikitin, but the puck makes it through. And Kachia's just running it back, following it back down the ice for the Inferno.
You can just see Matty Nikitin circling around looking for those stretch passes. The Inferno setting up for long passes across the neutral zone when the snipers are making their changes. So snipers will be aware of that. They'll certainly see it coming. You won't catch an experienced player like Liam Webster out with that, but at the same time, the snipers need to be mindful of it.
And the snipers with the puck. Leva running it in. And it's just taken off him there and thrown back down the other end. That was a good throw in there by Nikitin.
Tommy Forrest had to deal with one of those awkwardly bouncing pucks. He couldn't quite control it the way he would have liked. It bounced just in front of him on the half volley. And they can be really tricky for goaltenders to deal with.
And just for a pass, Vrilnek into the slot, but doesn't quite make it. And we've got Harper, who's just contesting it here at the boards. Quickly taken off by Gallagher, who's running it up the ice.
And that's what Gallagher's so good at. They get those quick breaks through the neutral zone, and they get clear. And they did that twice last week against the Dogs to great effect and scored a couple of goals with it. So you cannot give Gallagher that much room.
And the Inferno still maintain... Oh, sorry, these snipers grab the control of the puck here. Apps picked up by Lane. Lane hits it out and picked up by Afterlin, who just takes a stumble into the boards here.
And Webster just introducing everyone to the physicality of full contact hockey. It's mine, you can't have it. I tell you don't want to run into Liam in a dark alley. He's a lovely bloke off the ice, but when you're playing against him, I imagine it'll be pretty special. He's a very tough competitor indeed.
Clump and just loses the puck, but it's picked up there by Afterlin, who shoots it over. And picked up again by Klomp.
It's a nice pass across there to Roseman, who was unmarked in the high slot, couldn't quite convert it. A-grade scoring opportunity there for the Inferno.
Lane. And the snipers carry it out of the zone. Gichuchi with the puck, running it, and just chips it over, but it's just picked up by Dow.
Snipers are a little bit slow with their changes at the moment. I'm not surprised that they've actually only got the two lines, which is a little surprising. I haven't seen Potter or McMahon on the bench for them, which is they'll certainly miss them in the second and the third period.
Nave over to Leva. Leva chips it out into the neutral zone, but it's picked up by the snipers. Clump there. And Inferno back with the puck. A little dance down for Dow, and it over to Vilnek, who goes for a shot on the goal.
Nice positional save there by Tommy Forrest, but he couldn't save the rebound. He got the first one, but we'll see here on the replay that there's a first save there, beautifully made by Tommy Forrest. But then there's a loose puck bubbling around the slot, and there's a snipe, and there's an Inferno player who just taps it on in and makes that one look pretty easy in the end. Tommy Forrest did everything he could with the first one. He made that first save, but his D weren't there to own the space in front of the slot. And so we now have a 1-1 game with 3 minutes and 14 seconds to go in the first. Shots on the net, I'll tell you in a moment.
And that was a goal by Nikitin.
Yeah, the Inferno with 12 shots to the 6 for the Snipers. So the Inferno with most of the run of the play. That doesn't count if it's not getting on the scoreboard, and we are tied up at 1 goal apiece with just under 3 minutes to play in the first.
And we've got a whistle here.
Tommy Forrest with his work well and truly cut out for him, especially since we stopped calling him Seb Willens. Said by comparison, he's had a relatively easy first period. He's only had to make 6 saves so far. Godfrey to drop the puck for the boys.
Inferno with the win off the face-off.
Nice win there by
Over to
Michael
Webster.
McDowell.
Webster to Chuchi.
So it was Dixon who won that face-off. My apologies. He did that quite nicely too. You can see different techniques for centres when they take the face-offs, where they put the stick at the start, how they play it back, what their plan is. Every centre will come to a face-off with a plan about what they want to do with the puck and where they want to put it. And if the players are alert to that plan, you can see the snipers too, just slowing down those changes. It's taking their time getting out. There's just under 2 minutes now to play. And they're probably pretty tired. Inferno with a slightly bigger bench.
Lane chipping it over to the boards for the Inferno. And they're just contesting to keep it in the zone here, but Flack is quite adamant to keep it in. And a shot on goal by Apps.
2 in a row by Apps there. Beautiful. You can see that cannon he's got. He's when he gets a chance to use it, it's very effective indeed. And we have an icing with 1 minute and 30 seconds to play. What that means is because the Inferno have played the puck from in their half, so on their side of the red line down the middle of the ice, and no one's touched it, and it's gone down across the goal line at the other end, they then have to have a face-off in their defensive zone, and they're not allowed to change, which means tired legs for them. The snipers can change if they want. The Inferno are not permitted to change in this instance.
Inferno again with the win off the face-off for Flack. And the snipers struggling to get control of it here in the zone. Another shot there on net by Apps.
Apps with room. He created that opportunity. He's made a few of them now. 50 seconds to play in the first.
But it's just chipped away back into the neutral.
Beautiful checker there by Cy Lake. He's dynamic in this game at the moment. He's moving very, very quickly and very nicely.
Buchanan with a nice pass in front of the net there for Apps. But it's just stolen back away. Buchanan to Apps. Goes for a shot, and Woodland goes for the splits there, but makes the save.
You would have backed Apps there to put that one in, but Woodland made sure of it. And we'll see here that Apps has got a bit of room and space. And I think with 10 seconds to play in this period, we will have a cut at the end of this period, so there'll be roughly a 10-minute break. And I think we might just get about 5 seconds to play once they drop the puck.
And the puck's travelling up into the Inferno zone, just off the face-off.
Nice aggressive forecheck there. That's when one of the players in the attacking team goes down and puts pressure on the defensive players. And that was, again, Cy Lake for the Inferno, who has been outstanding in this period for them. It's just a slightly bigger bench, the Inferno. We will have a cut now. But at the end of the first, we're all tied up 1 goal apiece. The Inferno, I think you'd have to agree, Britt, have probably had most of the flow. In terms of shots on the net, the Snipers 10 to the Inferno's 17. And it certainly was reflected in the play. We've had 1 penalty, which ended up being a goal for the Snipers. The Inferno Jackson Lane getting 2 minutes for high sticking. I don't think it was anything intentional, and it's just one of those things. Sometimes your stick rides up and accidentally clocks someone, and it certainly wasn't a deliberate thing. He's not a dirty player by any stretch of the imagination. But the first goal was to none other than Logan Gallagher, assisted by Liam Webster and Justin Dixon. And we've seen Gallagher and Dixon combine beautifully last week, where they combined, I think, for 3 of the 4 goals that the Snipers got in that period. This time, Gallagher gets the first one. Matty Nikitin for the Snipers scored back, assisted by Hector and Kevin Dow. So at the end of the first, we'll have a cut now. We'll be back with you at, what time is it? 7:54. We'll be back with you at 8:05 for the second period.
Confidence.
Where does it come from?
Why do some have it more than others?
How can young players find it?
How can beer leaguers get more of it?
How can pros keep it?
It comes from being 100% comfortable with your gear.
Because it's only when your gear feels just right.
Do you have the extra confidence to go all out and play to your fullest potential?
CCM knows that when you feel your best,
you play your best.
That's why they design, engineer, and test
the smallest details to feel just right.
So when you lace up your skates,
Put on your helmet,
Flex your stick.
or put on your pads,
You might not know why it feels right.
and that's okay. Just know that CCM does. And they got the art down to a science.
so now everyone can feel more comfortable wearing CCM gear.
And feel more confident in taking their performance to the next level. When you feel your best,
you play your best.
because when things feel just right,
Who knows where your best will take you?
game is our canvas.
Our choice, our freedom.
It's my way.
And mine.
And mine.
And mine.
It's the only way. The ice doesn't discriminate.
It doesn't see color or gender.
All it sees is 60 minutes of pure effort.
A pure fun.
On the ice, we might be enemies.
But in the end, we're all allies.
This game's for everyone.
No matter who you are,
No matter where we're from, we're all ready to hit the ice.
Confidence.
Where does it come from?
Why do some have it more than others?
How can young players find it?
How can beer leaguers get more of it?
How can pros keep it?
It comes from being 100% comfortable with your gear.
Because it's only when your gear feels just right.
Do you have the extra confidence to go all out and play to your fullest potential?
CCM knows that when you feel your best,
you play your best.
That's why they design, engineer, and test
the smallest details to feel just right.
So when you lace up your skates,
Put on your helmet, flex your stick.
or put on your pads,
You might not know why it feels right.
And that's okay. Just know that CCM does. And they got the art down to a science.
So now everyone can feel more comfortable wearing CCM gear.
And feel more confident in taking their performance to the next level.
When you feel your best,
you play your best.
Because when things feel just right,
Who knows where your best will take you?
This game is our canvas.
our choice, our freedom.
It's my way.
And mine.
And mine.
And mine.
it's the only way. The ice doesn't discriminate.
It doesn't see color or gender.
All it sees is 60 minutes of pure effort.
A pure fun.
On the ice, we might be enemies.
But in the end, we're all allies.
This game's for everyone.
No matter who you are,
No matter where we're from, we're all ready to hit the ice.
Confidence.
Where does it come from?
Why do some have it more than others?
How can young players find it?
How can beer leaguers get more of it?
How can pros keep it?
It comes from being 100% comfortable with your gear.
Because it's only when your gear feels just right.
Do you have the extra confidence to go all out and play to your fullest potential?
CCM knows that when you feel your best,
you play your best.
That's why they design, engineer, and test
the smallest details to feel just right.
So when you lace up your skates,
Put on your helmet.
flex your stick, or put on your pads.
You might not know why it feels right.
And that's okay. Just know that CCM does. And they got the art down to a science.
So now everyone can feel more comfortable wearing CCM gear.
And feel more confident in taking their performance to the next level.
When you feel your best,
you play your best.
Because when things feel just right,
Who knows where your best will take you?
Welcome back to the IceHQ Ice Rink here in the Reservoir, Melbourne, Australia, for the second period of what is proving to be yet another absolute humdinger of a hockey game here at IceHQ. Friday night is hockey night at IceHQ. The second period sees us all squared up. The Inferno 1 and the Snipers 1 goal apiece. But the scoreboard doesn't tell the story so far. The Inferno with 17 shots to the Snipers 10, so almost twice the number of shots on the net for the Inferno. They have been dynamic through the period. They've got a slightly bigger bench as well. A lot of the damage has been done. Cy Lake is playing absolutely outstanding for the Inferno, and I can't help but think that it feels like the floodgates are going to open up sometime in the second. But we've seen Hector Volnik do particularly well as well. But they are up against a very experienced Snipers who are, unfortunately, this evening short both Michael McMahon and Lockie Sincotta, who are two of their premier defensive players. But now they are underway.
Flack with the win off the face-off for the Snipers. And Flack chips it just behind the boards over to Buchanan, who chips it out up to Webster, and it's just stolen away by Afterlin there for the Inferno.
Webster did a good job there on the pinch, but he was backed up and covered very well indeed by Luke Buchanan, who went back and just covered up for him. It's a good piece of defensive play by a forward.
And the puck flies loose in the front of the net, but it's hit just quickly away there by Dow. Apps running with the puck. Just looking for a light pass over to Webster there.
I think the game strategy for the Inferno is we have an icing and the puck will be brought back. And you can see the referees just heading over to the bench and telling the Inferno guys they all have to get back on again. Because they play the puck from their own half, they're not allowed to get a change. It gets brought back to their defensive zone. I think the strategy, Brett, for the Inferno would be to keep the intensity as high as possible and try and tire out the Inferno, but tire out the Snipers. But they've got to be careful they don't overdo it on their push and don't give don't give Logan Gallagher and Laver too much room to move, because we know what they'll do if they get space. Then combined with Justin Dixon is a recipe for scoring goals.
And the Inferno with just in the high slot there, the puck flying loose, but they Snipers managed to get it up over the boards. And running out of the zone, we've got Flack, who just gets it through the legs and a little bit far behind the net.
And Harper there for the Inferno, doing a great job of managing distance and just making sure that the attack was pushed wide, giving Sebi Williams an easy save.
Puck picked up by Webster, who's bringing it around. A little bit of a close contest there by the Inferno.
Webster was being well marked there by Nathan Cacho. He was just keeping an eye on him. He wasn't challenging him physically, just making sure he didn't have any passing lanes.
And the puck is dragged away by Kevin Pang.
Snipers with most of the flow through this opening minute and a half, 2 minutes of this period. Inferno yet to really get any great scoring opportunities.
Dancing up the ice, we've got Go, who the puck just gets away from him there, but he manages to get a shot on net, but it's quickly picked up again.
Snipers back in numbers, and we have a whistle. And it looks like we're having 6 players on the ice for the Snipers. So a little bit of miscommunication on the bench by the look of it. Or have we got an icing? What's going on here? We'll get it sorted out in a second. I think it's a too many men penalty on the Snipers. Either that or it's a timeout. We're a little bit mystified here as to what's going on. I'm sure they'll explain to us very shortly.
Yeah,
no,
too many men.
Too many men. So what's happened there is the Snipers have had 6 players on the ice when you're only supposed to have 5. And so they will have to serve a penalty. Now, the last time the Snipers gave away a penalty, the Inferno scored on it. And it was scored by Matty Nikitin for the Snipers who scored. Tell a lie. It was Matty Nikitin for the Snipers who just got the wrong picture for the Inferno. I'll get there eventually. It was the Inferno who scored on the power play, and it's now their second chance.
And we've got Spencer Nave in the box, serving time for that one.
Yeah, it's not his fault as such. He's just serving a bench penalty.
Dancing up the ice, we've got Afterlin for the Inferno, who just does a little pass behind him to Klomp, who brings it over to Lane, and Lane brings it into the slot, but it's hit out there by Apps.
And so Lake just blew a tyre on a very, very tight turn he was trying to make there. Either it's to go off and get his skates sharpened at our pro shop here at IceHQ.
And Afterlin with the puck. Just gests it over to Lane. With a tight contest there by Dixon, but Lane manages to steal it back up and passes it over to Klomp.
Snipers very aggressive on their forward pressure on this penalty kill so far, with about a minute to play on the penalty kill. They haven't got any shots on yet, but they're now set up. They've got a chance to get organised.
Kachia to Klomp. Klomp over to Nikitin, who goes for a shot on goal, and it's hit away by Forrest.
Nikitin with the first really good scoring opportunity from this power play. He's doing a good job of just creating a little bit of room for himself. Just up high and right. A nice shot there through traffic by Keisha.
And a close contest here, and it's just kicked away by Flack.
Nice work there, Logan Gallagher, again with that speed and pressure. He's a very fast young man indeed, Logan. He goes over and gets his change on the back check, but I think he's just blown himself on the pressure that he put on forwards. But the Snipers get away with it. And we have about 10 seconds to play on the power play, and with a save there made by Tommy Forrest, we will have, on the drop of the puck, the return to the ice of Spencer Nave. Now, it wasn't Spencer's fault, this penalty. It's just a bench penalty, so it's running the bench. Should be getting 2 minutes for that, but they can't. So as soon as the puck is dropped, Nave will jump out from behind. And this is where the Snipers, if they can play the puck up the boards, the Inferno might not necessarily be aware of him coming. This is where they can get into a stretch pass.
And the snipers
They almost
with
do.
puck. And Lane just blows a tie there. And Buchanan picks it up for the snipers, chipping it up over the boards. And behind it, it's picked up quickly by Vrilnik. But he's contested very closely by Apps, who just tries to steal it away, but it's picked up there again by Harper. Harper chips it into the neutral. And we've got a breakaway here for Nikitin, who scores!
He makes that one look easy. You can see Hector was looking for that pass up the ice, and Apps makes that connection to the the Inferno player floating right out on the blue line with absolutely no one anywhere near him. And a 1-on-none. And unfortunately for Tommy Forrest, he wasn't saving that one. So a beautiful goal there by the Inferno, just sneaking behind the back of the Snipers' defence. And that's where they're probably missing the experience of Michael McMahon.
And the face-off won by Vrilnik.
11 minutes and 30 seconds to play. The Inferno 2, the Snipers 1.
Picked up by Apps, who drops it in for Flack, but the pass just gets quickly taken back over by Inferno. Apps keeping it in the zone, but it's taken out by Vrilnik.
Vrilnik found Dale, but unfortunately turned it over. Snipers now with a chance to break out. Webster goes to cross-ice pass through D, gets it to Apps, a little bit luckily, and Apps immediately under pressure.
And it's chipped in by Dow, but picked up again by Snipers.
Dow typed that one nicely, but now the Snipers with a rush.
Snipers with a shot on goal there, doesn't quite get over, but Flack is trying hard here, dancing around. But it's picked up by Afterlin, passed over, back to Afterlin. Oh, and he blows a tyre.
It's going to be a penalty on Liam Webster there. Just ran into some hands. I think you'll see this on the replay as he comes through and tries to thread the gap. And Liam Webster's hands come up and give Afterlin a bit of a push in the face. And down he goes, and Liam Webster will sit to. Probably, I'm guessing, for interference or possibly roughing. We'll know in just a moment. So Liam Webster will sit to. And the Snipers with another power play, penalty kill.
Inferno with the win off the face-off by Aftlin. And the Inferno are following it around the boards, picked up by Klomp, and it's just lost away into their zone, following up by Harper. Nice
clearance there by the Snipers. All they need to do is dump the puck all the way down the other end, and it runs 20 seconds off the penalty. And they've got Gallagher and Dixon out on the ice, and we know how quick they are.
Harper are following the puck up the boards, and we've got a whistle.
And this time it looks like we've got a trip. And we'll see who it's on in a minute. It happened in a bit of a blind corner for us here, so we're not sure if it's looks like it's one of the Inferno players coming to sit the two. No, still. What this is doing, this delay is no call at all. I don't know what happened there.
And it's been waved off.
How far offside was that goal? Like that or what?
Seb with the puck just behind the boards. And the Inferno are running it up. We've got Kachia running it up down for the Inferno. Passes it over, and just missed by Tim Nikitin.
Now that little bit of delay worked in the favour of the Snipers because it ran the clock down. It didn't stop ran the penalty clock down. It didn't stop the actual game time. So Liam Webster will be back out on the ice quite shortly.
Klump with a nice pass to Vrilnik, who tries to get it over to Lake there, but doesn't quite make it across. Sorry, that was Takashia. Vrilnik.
We're firing shots across the front there of Tommy Forrest, but so far it's been mostly Snipers on this penalty, what they might call a power kill. They tie the puck up deep in the corner. And we're going to be very close to the end of this penalty. I'm sorry we don't have the time on it at the moment, but it will be not long at all before Webster is back on the ice.
Nikitin goes for a sneaky backhand there, but is quickly blocked by the Snipers.
Webster back on the ice now. That winds up the penalty.
And that was a workout there for Forrest with a little bit of a tussle in front of the net, but he doesn't let one through.
So we have a defensive zone face-off for the Snipers, and we saw them score goals here last week against the Dogs. Can they do it this time? Looks like they've got a bit of a sneaky break through the middle.
Running up, we've got Buchanan, who's got a 4-on-1 and doesn't manage to sneak it past the Inferno.
He had Apps racing down the other side. So it's a very common move, that rapid breakout. You try and set up your wingers on a fast break from the face-off. They pick up the trash at the back of the face-off circle and they're away.
And the snipers are running it up. We've got Apps, who's running it just through the middle. Manages to steal the puck through a bit of traffic, but it gets back over the blue line. And Aftelin runs it down, but quickly taken back by the snipers. Flack running it up. Hits it just behind the net. And he's going to be looking for a pass here over to Flack. Flack for a shot on goal, and he scores!
Flack there.
Sorry, that was Kevin Pang who scored that goal.
Kevin Peng with way too much time here. The Inferno defence just let him sit there out on that, just out of that face-off dot, gave him a lot of room. And a fair bit of traffic too there in front of Woodlands. You couldn't see it coming. And so we are back to a 2-2 game. It's pretty good. It's what we want. Close contests. I watched the Boston game and that wasn't so close today. But anyway, you can't win them all.
Inferno with the win off the face-off, but the snipers gain possession. McDowell passes it over. Gallagher with the puck and just chips it over, but Inferno managed to steal it back. We've got Vrilnik just following it up the ice. Tries to do a nice pass there to go, but the snipers just intercept it.
Vrilnik was nicely held up there by Logan Gallagher, quite trying to get arms and sticks and anything he could in the way of the Frenchman. They know how dangerous Vrilnik can be when he gets a bit of time and space. He does have some of the best hands in the competition.
Oof, and Lever just stacks it here with trying to run it up the ice.
We're going to get a penalty here, I think, on Harper for charging. So what that means is you're not allowed to take more than 3 steps directly towards your opponent if you're trying to deliver a hit. And see, that was a bit more than 3. He lined him up from about halfway across the rink and skated straight at him. So that's a charging foul, and so the Inferno will now be sitting 2, and the Snipers with a chance with the numerical advantage. I think it's the first power play they're going to get. No, they had one in the first period when Lane was done for high stick as well. So
and the Snipers win possession there off the face-off. Webster goes for a long shot on goal, and it just doesn't quite make it through the traffic.
So you see what Webster did there, though, was exactly the right option. He's firing it low and hard. He's trying to generate rebounds. They've got that numerical advantage. They've got the loose player. Get it in low and hard on the goalie's pad, so they'll usually cough a rebound.
We've got the Inferno here going for a short-handed goal, but it just goes a bit too high there by Klomp. And the Snipers pick it back up, tossing it back over into their zone by Gallagher.
They have a little bit of time now to gather themselves up, the Snipers, but they've just passed it to Webster, who very patiently plays it back. He's in no rush.
Lazzarotto, picked up by Lane, and he throws it up the boards into the neutral. Kachia bringing it up, and picked up by Peng. Webster, over to Gallagher. And the Snipers gain possession at the boards.
So just our apologies there for giving credit to Lazzarotto. He's not here tonight. Someone else is wearing his jersey.
And just blowing a tyre there for the Inferno.
Loose puck in the slot. There it is for the Snipers. Oh, couldn't quite convert it there. Logan Gallagher, he saw daylight, but couldn't quite get enough on the puck to put it in. Great scoring opportunity there for them, as we don't have much long to go on this penalty. It's just about 30 seconds to play. 20 seconds, I should say, on this penalty for the Inferno. They'll be back to full strength very shortly.
Flack with the puck running it up. And he's looking for a shot or a pass, and he just takes it behind the net. Goes for a quick pass in front by Apps, and he just missed it behind, but it's picked up by Laverer, keeping it in the zone.
And we are back to full strength now.
And the Inferno gain possession. Afterlin running it up the ice for the Inferno. Going in for a shot, and it just gets knocked away by McDowell's skate.
Just a little bit of a foot on that one from Andy McDowell. It's just get anything in the way that you can. Stretch up to Apps. Apps with space. He's got to beat Minchin. Takes a shot for the 5-hole. But Sebi Woodlands closes the gap. Beautiful save there, Seb Woodlands. Nice option there by Bradley Apps. Just couldn't quite convert it. Woodlands up to the task.
Afterlin shoots it into the middle and it's picked up by Webster. And Apps contests it back and it's picked up there by Klomp.
Klomp's pocket is picked.
A little bit of dancing there.
Webster. Webster doesn't quite find the net. Oh, Liam Webster, beautiful opportunity there. He got some space in front of the set. That's when the D activates and goes in. Just creates that extra bit of space, that extra player. And Webster can play anywhere on the ice. He's a very experienced player. He does have his name on at least 3 Goodall Cups. So one of the most experienced and successful hockey players in this country, Liam Webster.
And another shot on there, but Woodlands covers it up.
So we will have a very brief break while we have another attacking zone face-off here by the Snipers. You can see the Snipers' defence moving in about halfway between the face-off dots and the blue line. Means the Snipers with an opportunity to get behind them if they can, and their wingers move up quickly. But straight away, Snipers' defence there in Kevin Peng moving back and covering it up.
A slap shot there by Webster, and it just gets blocked by Inferno.
Liam's taken a few shots in this period. He's doing well. I think he's seen that he needs to step it up a little bit. 1 minute and 15 seconds to go on the drop of the puck, give or take. And we will be just about ready to close out the second with a minute to go. At the moment, it's all tied up at 2 goals apiece. Doesn't get any closer than that.
Snipers with it off the face-off, and they score!
Yes, it does. Right through absolutely everything. Kevin Peng fires a shot from the point, low and hard. Seb Woodlands didn't see that one coming at all, and it's gone straight through traffic, straight through the 5-hole, and the Snipers will take a 1-goal lead into the third period. We've only got about 45 seconds to go. Will we get the face-off, or will the Snipers be forced to play one more, and can the Inferno bring it back in the last probably 20 seconds of the period? What do you reckon, Britt? What's going to happen here?
I don't know. It's a very close game.
If I were the Snipers, I'd be just putting the brakes on here for this last little break. 30 seconds to play.
Yep, hitting it out.
Dump the puck and just chill it out. Get the legs back.
But the Snipers gain possession of the puck here. But the Inferno are quick to pick it up and dump it into their zone by Afterlin. And it's picked up by McDowell. Afterlin over to Kashia. Goes for a shot on goal and they score. They get one back. That was Matt Nickett who scored that one.
With 10 seconds to go, we are back to 3 goals apiece, no lead. And that's where the Snipers, you can make an argument that all they really need to do just to settle things down at the end of that period was just to ice it. Now it's going to run the clock down, doesn't matter. But they didn't. They choose to try and play it out, and the Inferno took advantage of it. A little bit of a defensive lapse, a little bit of space. Perhaps the Snipers just a little bit on their heels, thinking, we'll take this 1-goal lead in. We don't need to do terribly much, and how wrong that can so often turn out to be. You cannot afford to take your foot off the pedal, especially against a team like the Inferno, and we know that they are full of intensity, and they brought heart and hustle here, and they've got Georgia Carson coaching them, and she'll be cracking the whip on the bench, but I don't think she needs to. That team has brought it all here tonight. So that'll wind us up for the second period. We will have a 10-minute break now. We will be back with you at 8:35, give or take a minute or so, for the third period. At the end of the second, I'll just give you a quick summary of that. We have 3 goals apiece. My system quite hasn't caught up with that yet. But 25 shots to 20 Snipers to the Inferno. It doesn't necessarily matter. And 3 goals apiece, but I can't tell you who they'll work because the system hasn't caught up with that yet. But anyway, we'll be back with you in 10 minutes for the third period of this all tied up absolute ripper here at Hockey Night at IceHQ.
Confidence.
Where does it come from?
Why do some have it more than others?
How can young players find it?
How can beer leaguers get more of it?
How can pros keep it?
It comes from being 100% comfortable with your gear.
Because it's only when your gear feels just right.
Do you have the extra confidence to go all out and play to your fullest potential?
CCM knows that when you feel your best,
You play your best.
That's why they design, engineer, and test
the smallest details to feel just right.
So when you lace up your skates, put on your helmet, flex your stick, or put on your pads.
You might not know why it feels right.
And that's okay. Just know that CCM does. And they got the art down to a science.
So now everyone can feel more comfortable wearing CCM gear
And feel more confident in taking their performance to the next level.
When you feel your best,
you play your best.
Because when things feel just right,
Who knows where your best will take you?
is our canvas.
Our choice, our freedom.
It's my way.
And mine.
And mine.
And mine.
It's the only way. The ice doesn't discriminate.
It doesn't see color or gender.
All it sees is 60 minutes of pure effort.
A pure fun.
On the ice, we might be enemies.
But in the end, we're all allies.
This game's for everyone.
No matter who you are,
No matter where we're from, we're all ready to hit the ice.
Confidence.
Where does it come from?
Why do some have it more than others?
How can young players find it?
How can beer leaguers get more of it?
How can pros keep it?
It comes from being 100% comfortable with your gear.
Because it's only when your gear feels just right.
Do you have the extra confidence to go all out and play to your fullest potential?
CCM knows that when you feel your best,
you play your best.
That's why they design, engineer, and test
the smallest details to feel just right.
So when you lace up your skates, put on your helmet, flex your stick, or put on your pads.
You might not know why it feels right.
And that's okay. Just know that CCM does. And they got the art down to a science.
So now everyone can feel more comfortable wearing CCM gear
And feel more confident in taking their performance to the next level. When you feel your best,
you play your best.
because when things feel just right,
Who knows where your best will take you?
This game is our canvas.
Our choice, our freedom.
It's my way.
And mine.
And mine.
And mine.
it's the only way. The ice doesn't discriminate.
It doesn't see color or gender.
All it sees is 60 minutes of pure effort.
A pure fun.
On the ice, we might be enemies.
But in the end, we're all allies.
This game's for everyone.
No matter who you are,
No matter where we're from, we're all ready to hit the ice.
Confidence.
Where does it come from?
Why do some have it more than others?
How can young players find it?
How can beer leaguers get more of it?
How can pros keep it?
It comes from being 100% comfortable with your gear.
Because it's only when your gear feels just right.
Do you have the extra confidence to go all out and play to your fullest potential?
CCM knows that when you feel your best,
You play your best.
That's why they design, engineer, and test
the smallest details to feel just right.
So when you lace up your skates,
Put on your helmet.
flex your stick, or put on your pads.
You might not know why it feels right.
And that's okay. Just know that CCM does. And they got the art down to a science.
So now everyone can feel more comfortable wearing CCM gear.
And feel more confident in taking their performance to the next level. When you feel your best,
you play your best.
because when things feel just right,
Who knows where your best will take you?
Welcome back to the IceHQ Ice Rink here in Reservoir, Melbourne, Australia, for this absolutely scorching game we're having here between the Snipers and the Inferno. We're all tied up at 3 goals apiece at the end of the first 2 periods. It would look like the Snipers were going to take a narrow 1-goal lead into the 3rd period, but as they scored a goal with about a minute and a half to go, but the Inferno struck back with 10 seconds to go on the clock. The Snipers were just a little bit lax there in defence and perhaps a little bit complacent, and as a result, coming into the 3rd, we are all tied up at 3 goals apiece. The goals were scored in the 1st period by Logan Gallagher and Matt Keaton. In the 2nd, Tim Keaton, Kevin Ping. It wasn't Yuga Kochi, he's not playing today, I believe. It was, I think their score system's not quite right. Kevin Ping and Matty Nikitin there. So we've got Matty Nikitin scoring with just 7 seconds to go on the clock to square it up. So we'll be coming into 3rd like we were coming into the 1st. It's all square. If it does finish, if we are into the last 3 minutes of this game and it does stay within less than 2 goals or less margin, it will go to stop time for the remaining 2 minutes or 3 minutes, I think it is, of the game. And if it is still all tied up at the end of regulation time, it will go straight to a penalty shootout, which is where teams take turns getting penalty shots on the net until they get a sufficiently large margin that they can't be beaten. So, Brett, it's going to happen. They're about to drop the puck, and we're going to get some pretty good hockey. Tommy Forrest there just having a bit of a chin wag with Liam Webster. And we'll be underway very, very shortly indeed.
Yeah, it's an eye for an eye here tonight, Carl.
Yep. So we've been treated to an excellent game. It's been very exciting. It's had almost everything.
Afterlin with the win off the face-off, closely picked up by Dow. But the Snipers steal it away. That's Liam Webster. And followed up to the boards is Raisman, who passes it over to Afterlin, who just misses it.
Great scoring opportunity there by Afterlin. Couldn't quite convert it. Got space in front of the net, but under a lot of pressure there by Liam Webster. And we have a penalty up for a penalty. And it looks like it will be on, or is it an offside? No. No penalty. Not quite sure what happened there, but anyway, it's a face-off now, an attacking opportunity for the Inferno. See their D sitting a little bit further back than the Snipers D do. I'm a bit of a fan of that.
And the Inferno go for a shot right off the face-off, but it just pings the top of the crossbar.
It's a great centre play there to take the shot from the face-off. It immediately puts pressure on the goalie. If you can get it, it's great. Liam Webster's terrific at doing it himself. So he knows that move very well. I've seen him do it in many, many occasions when he's playing centre, but he's playing D today for the Snipers.
And Apps chipped it behind him over to Flack, but it couldn't quite get it into his possession. And just chipped over to the board. Inferno, Klomp running it up. Goes for a shot, and it just goes a bit wide, and the Snipers are quick to pick it up. Apps over to Flack, who's running it up the ice. And he goes for a shot on the net, and it just pings a little bit high to Woodlands. But he picks up his own rebound and chips it back up. And Nave over. And Apps just over in the corner behind the net. Apps running it around and just chips it over up to Nave, who puts a shot on the net, and it's saved by Woodlands.
Nave there was just left a little bit unattended early on. He had Hector Vilnick keeping an eye on him, and then Hector decided to go in and activate a little bit deeper in defence. And that created that space up on the blue line for the Snipers to try and get a shot away. They couldn't convert it into a goal, but they did convert it into a good scoring opportunity.
And Inferno with the puck off the face-off. And they take it out of the zone, but it's picked up by the Snipers. Following it behind the net, Minson, who's just looking for a pass here and chips it up. And we've got a ref's hand up for icing, and it's cleared.
Weird, because the Inferno won the race to the puck, and Keaton there digging the puck down under his feet. Finds a fine place in front of the net, but Tommy Forrest's pad was in the way.
That was a cheeky pass there by Nikitin. Over to Nikitin.
It didn't have an awful lot on it, but it was in exactly the right spot, and it made Tommy Forrest have to get his pad down and make the save.
And just a little bit of a tussle here at the corner of the boards. And the Inferno break away with it. Running up the ice, we've got Kachia, who just chips it behind him over to Vilnick, who goes for a shot on the net there.
Misses that one. That was an A grade. He'd be annoyed that he didn't get enough on that one, Nikitin. That was a great chance.
Harper, shot on net, just wide.
So that shot across the net. The two Nikitin boys were skating in one after the other. Created a great scoring chance, but could not turn it into the goal that they need.
Vilnick with the puck in the neutral. And they're just setting it up here. And just turned over by Webster and turned back over by Goh, who chips it in. Apps with the puck and just chips it out into the zone, and it's a race to the puck here. And we've got another whistle. I'm not sure what this one's for, Carl.
It's an icing, so they're being brought back. Interestingly, through the second period, the Inferno, although they got 2 goals as much as they did with the Snipers, I think they just took their foot a little bit off the gas. They're going to need to pump it up a little bit there. They're really going to need to see some work here from Cy Lake, who was scintillating in the first. Just a little bit flat in the second.
And the Snipers with the puck in their zone, looking for some good positioning, but it looks like the Inferno have it all in the net, in the slot.
Yeah, and Sebi Woodlands there tidies that one up and makes it safe. And we will have a face-off now down in the offensive zone for the Snipers. So just take a look when they set up where the Snipers D position themselves. A more conservative setup would have the two defensive players back on the blue line. Webster in a sort of an intermediate position in the middle of the neutral, in the middle.
Lane collecting the puck off the face-off and just kept in by Webster.
Webster doing that smart thing, firing it in low and hard. He knows exactly what to do from that position when there's traffic. Fire the shot in low and hard at the goalie, force saves and force redirects.
Nickerton goes for a slap shot there, but just doesn't get quite enough contact on the puck. And the Inferno are running it up the ice. And we've got a call for icing.
You might have noticed that absolutely sprinting his heart out there was Gabriel Go. And what he was trying to do was beat the puck or beat the Snipers player. Now what the referees do in that situation, because it is an icing, they have to make a decision before the players get to the face-off dot as to who they think is going to get to it first. And if it's in the team, it's a defensive player who gets there first, then it's still an icing. But if the offensive player gets there first, the player's allowed to continue. That's why they race down there if they can. But they do have to call it off before they get to the face-off circles, the referees, otherwise it's an excessive risk of injury. That rule was introduced to try and protect players from getting cleaned up at full speed, ploughing into the boards at the other end of the ice and breaking their necks. That's generally considered to be a bad day, Britt, I think.
Yeah, it's wouldn't go home too good there.
No, you don't go home at all with that one. So that's why that rule was introduced. It's a safety thing. There's enough hazards in this game without adding that extra one.
And the Inferno picking up the puck off the face-off. Apps with a
Hector
close
finds
contact.
space.
And it's smothered up by Forrest.
Hector found a bit of room. He got some space, but he managed to, unfortunately for him, not to go low enough for the 5-hole. He just put it into Tommy Forrest's torso. Tommy may have a bruise from that, but the goal was not scored. So with a bit of a grin on his face here. I should have put that in, I know, but there you go. Wins the face-off instead. Klomp fires a slappy through traffic.
Just
but
wide.
It goes wide.
Gallagher with the puck up and passes a nice pass over to Dixon, who goes for a shot, and he just...
We have a hand up on a penalty, and it will be on the Snipers. Probably an interference on Dixon. We'll find out in just a minute. So that's Klomp, who will be sitting too. And that will give the Snipers the advantage. Didn't look like there was anything particular in it, but the referee made the call. Was that an interference or a hooking? We haven't seen what that one was for yet.
Catch eye of it.
Now the Snipers with a chance with just over 10 minutes to play, so almost halfway through this third period. Snipers with the win for the face-off.
That's...
Oh.
And Flag just loses it up the boards.
Beautiful centre play there.
Chips it up over to Webster. Over to Peng. And just
Webster fires the cannon.
High.
Webster absolutely loads up and fires the cannon, but it's deflected high around there into Matty Nikitin's stick and went over the top of everything, and so they'll get another chance. The Inferno want to win this face-off so they can dump the puck down the other end and clear it up, and the Snipers want to win it to keep offensive pressure on the Inferno and score a goal.
Flack with the winner off the face-off.
Webster finds traffic.
And over to Flack, over to a shot. And they're putting Woodlands here in a bit of heat.
Making me work for it, that's for sure. Webster again with that low, hard pass into the slot area into traffic.
Apps up to Peng. Peng to Apps. Apps to shot on the goal. And it's covered by Woodlands.
Woodlands doing a good job. He's been put under a lot of pressure. This is probably the most effective power play we've seen throughout the game. The Snipers getting a number of shots on, and it's mostly been Webster. They've been winning the face-offs. Webster's been getting it, firing it in low and hard into traffic, and that's created a lot of offensive pressure. Snipers win it again.
Apps here with possession of the puck. And passes it just up over to Peng.
Webster again.
Peng to Webster. Apps chips it over to Peng, who just didn't get enough on it, and it falls over the blue line.
Nick with a big forecheck comes in to try and break up this Snipers power play. There won't be too much time left on it now. I think we've only got just under 30 seconds on the power play.
Flack running up through some heavy traffic here. Tries to glide it back up, and he's just held up at the boards.
Inferno defence doing a nice structural job.
Apps right in front of the puck. And just loses sight of it.
They dump the puck all the way down the other end. And because they're on a penalty kill, the Inferno can dump the puck all the way down the other end, and it's not an icing. So now the Snipers with their last rush, and in fact it's back to full strength. We're back to 5-on-5.
Webster running it up, goes for a wide shot on net, just kicked away by Woodlands.
So Webster knows the right way to play this is shots on the net. Just keep putting them on. Sooner or later something goes in or you create a good rebound.
Dow goes for a shot and it flies high up over the net.
Doesn't hit the netting behind the thing, so the puck's still in play.
But the Inferno are going for a short-handed here.
No, it's penalties all over.
Oh, sorry.
I don't mind.
And a short goal there by Afterlin, but quickly picked up by Forrest.
And with, I think, about 8 minutes to play, just under 8 minutes to go, we're still all tied up at 3 goals apiece. Anna Godfrey, the linesperson, taking the drop. Rolnick to take the face-off for the Inferno. Wins it back. Nice win there, Hector.
And picked up by Erasmus.
Oh, here's trouble.
And they're both racing for the puck here. Nave picks it up for the Snipers. Good goal pass across there for Dixon and just loses sight of it. Here's Gallagher. Chipping it up high, McDowell. And we've got a whistle.
And the puck out of play, so we'll have fresh rubber on the ice. The Snipers have had most of the run so far in the third Brit. No shots on the net so far throughout this period. I tell a lie, it's 9 shots to the Snipers, but 13 to the Inferno. We've got to say, I think the Snipers have certainly had more of the run of the game. You know, they had a very effective power play not long ago. They're unlucky not to score with a couple of really good scoring opportunities.
They're certainly going for the shot attempts. They're just not quite getting it through the traffic.
So what's Gretzky's law? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Rilnick with the puck for the Inferno and just dumps it behind the net, and it's picked up quickly by Lane, who's bring it out over. We've got Kasia in good position here in the high slot. And the Inferno just keep it, chipping it around the boards, trying to look for how to break it out. Some good pressure here by Snipers.
That was Labour just fanning on the clearance. You couldn't quite get enough on it to clear the puck out of the zone. The Inferno still with offensive pressure. They've got unmarked player up on the point who fires the clapper, gets a redirect, but it goes through everything. There's no way that Tommy Forrest saw that one coming. Beautiful shot there from the point by Jackson Lane. And it certainly got tipped off just about everything, and I saw at least 2 deflections, but the puck ended up out of play. Because Tommy Forrest didn't see it coming, but he was in the way anyway, and certainly there was enough bits and pieces in the way to deflect the puck out of it. 6 minutes to play, still all tied up at 3 goals apiece.
And the Snipers have it off the face-off. Webster up around the back of the net. And Apps running it up. Chipping it over to Peng, who runs it back to Webster. Webster for a wide shot at the back of the net, off the boards.
Webster trying to put a hole in the boards behind the net, almost succeeds.
Bit of redecorating there. And Peng goes to pick it up and blows a tyre just in the defensive zone, but luckily it's picked up by Flack. And Flack running it up, just tips it over to Peng.
The Snipers look like
Peng over to Apps.
Looks like that should have been a penalty, but I'm pretty sure that Peng just blew a tyre. He wasn't assisted in this collision with the ice.
But Peng's fighting hard to get it back, but there's a shot, and just blocked by Webster there was a shot by Go, and the Snipers have it back in possession. Flack running it up the ice, goes for a shot on the net. Oh no, he passes it over to Buchanan, who just didn't get enough on it there. Inferno with the puck just stolen away by Flack. Flack running it up, doing a bit of dancing through the Inferno here. And he goes for a shot, and it just didn't quite make it through.
In the end, Flack just tried to go one too many. And the problem with that is ultimately you run into the defence because you're trying to get into that area in front of the goal. We call it a slot, and that's where you want to get to score a goal. But that's where the defence also want to go to make sure that you can't score a goal. And you can do all the fancy stuff through the top of the neutral zone. But if you just keep carrying the puck in, sooner or later you're going to run into defence. And we have a penalty on Luke Buchanan. Not sure what it was for yet, but we'll let you know very shortly. And so the Inferno this time on the power play with 4 minutes and 23 seconds to go. The Inferno with the extra player on the ice, or rather the Snipers with one less. Works out the same way.
And we've not had a goal in this this period yet.
We have not.
And a shot there
anyway, but,
by Inferno.
Commentator's curse.
And the Inferno are just keeping it in their zone here. Picked up by Klomp, who has got some good pressure here by the Snipers, but chips it over to Vrilnik. over to Klomp, and the Snipers clear the zone.
Buchanan got that penalty earlier for tripping. It's one of those slightly arbitrary penalties. If your stick causes your opponent to fall over, whether or not it was intentional, referees have no discretion and they have to award the penalty. So he didn't mean it, probably didn't mean it anyway, but he has to sit the 2.
Lane running it down across back the net and over to Nikodin, who passes it over to
Klomp's being pressured. And this is tying up the penalty kill, but it does take 2 players out. Now we've got another penalty up.
Nikodin picks
has
it
a
up.
hand up on the Snipers, so when the
Nikodin
Snipers touch this,
shot, Nikodin.
we'll have 3 on 5 for about 30 seconds, depending on how long it takes this to get organised, as another sniper is assisted to the box, and that is Justin Dixon, who will be doing 2 as well. He doesn't agree with the call, but he's getting 2 for holding. So he's grabbed hold of, or at least the referees have seen that he's grabbed hold of one of the Infernos. So for about 30 seconds, we'll have 5 on 3. Now, it's not always a scoring opportunity, like a goal gets scored, but you'd usually bet on one if this was to happen. They've got 3-player advantage. All the Snipers need to do, though, is win this face-off and dump the puck down the other end and get rid of it.
And they do. They've got possession off the face-off.
The Inferno now have the possession.
Minson over. Lane, Minson. Minson back over to Lane.
Snipers will set themselves up in a triangle here and try and own that space in front of the net.
Minson.
Been pretty successful now, and they've killed the 5 on 3. Snipers back on now for 5, so it's now 5 on 4. Straight back on the ice and straight back into the game there was Buchanan.
And Dow just loses sight of the puck just to Peng, and Peng chips it into the neutral. Picked up by Afterlin. Afterlin running the puck deep and chips it back up the boards for Klomp. And Klomp chips it right into that middle slot there. And a shot on the net by Afterlin.
Nice shot, but Forrest was up to it and saw it safely to the side. Come the Snipers with a counter-attack.
And Apps running it up. It's good space. And just a bit of pressure there by Inferno.
It was a good urgent back check there by the Inferno. They knew they needed to do it. Oh, did that go through Tommy Forrest? No, it did not. So what we saw there was, it's quite often, it's more common than you'd think to have a short-handed goal scored when you're up 5, when you've got a penalty kill, a power play, because quite often you get a bit complacent, you move in high in attack, and all you're thinking about is scoring the goal. And when you do that, you let people get behind them, and you quite often get odd player rushes, but it didn't happen this time. We should now have stop time, because there's no goal differential. So every time the puck stops, we should be getting a stop. And that will get sorted out very shortly, and possibly the clock wound back. With 3 goals apiece and just over a minute to play, we're into stop time, and we have the penalty. And the reason why the Inferno wanted that to happen is because they've still got about 12 to 15 seconds of the power play to play, and they want that numerical advantage. Where it gets dangerous is that Justin Dixon will jump on behind them. So if the Snipers can win this face-off and hold the puck, the Inferno will need to be careful they don't let Dixon jump on behind them, and then the Snipers can get a stretch pass to him, and they might not be aware of his existence. They probably will, but they might not. Inferno win the face-off.
Vilnick wins the face-off, back over to Klomp, and Klomp goes for a long shot, but it's just blocked by Gallagher, who hits it out of the zone.
20 seconds to go on the penalty, so the referees wound the clock back a little bit just to square it up.
And the Inferno bring it back in.
You can see Klomp is activated on the other side.
Klomp's ready to fire if he gets it up into his spot here. Kashia over to Klomp. Klomp over to Nikitin. And a whistle.
And we will have a stoppage with 45 seconds to play. We're all tied up at 3 goals apiece. Are we going to have another shootout like we did last week? Who knows? Last period we saw a goal scored in the last 7 seconds, so it can certainly happen. If either of the teams gets complacent and thinks, oh, well, we'll just sit back and watch this happen. If I was the Snipers, I'd be thinking at the moment probably it might have been a little bit lucky to get away with it so far. Certainly in the first period, but it's all squared up now. Shots on the net is 37 to the Snipers in total, 39 to the Inferno. So that tells you a pretty interesting story, but the Inferno have outshot the Snipers 19 to 12 in this third period. The Snipers outshot the Inferno 15 to 3 in the second. So it's been a bit topsy-turvy, but at the moment I can't help but think that the Inferno have the advantage. They've certainly had more power plays, but couldn't convert them.
And Flack tries to hit that up the boards, and it's just stolen back by Lane.
Lane with a beautiful shot forced Tommy Forrest to make a good pad save.
Vrilnik, and just stolen away there by Nikitin. Nikitin chips it up over into their zone.
It's Dixon driving through. 20 seconds to play in the period. Nikitin runs into Liam Webster, who says, "You're not getting through here. This is a wall of Liam."
And Lane over to Lake. And Klomp just travelling up the ice.
5
with
seconds
the
to go in the period. It's going to go to a penalty shootout, everyone. We're going to get a siren just about there. And so because we're all tied up at 3 goals apiece, this will go to a penalty shootout. Now, the way this works is you start off, each team takes a shot on the net, is allowed a shot from a player picking the puck up in the middle on the centre face-off dot. No other players are allowed on the ice. The puck is not allowed to go backwards. You're not allowed to have a second shot. If you miss, it's over. And you've got 3 shots. The 3 players get a shot each, and whoever finishes at the end of the 3 with the most number of goals will win the shootout. If it's still tied up at the end of those 3 shots, it then goes to an advantage situation similar to what you have in tennis. So you just need a lead. If one of your players scores a goal and the other player doesn't, then that wins the game. So you always end up with the same number of shots on the net each team, but it's when a team establishes a lead once it's gone past 3. These have been known to go on occasionally for 9 or 10 shots each until someone gets a goal. But that's pretty rare. Last week we saw the Snipers win in a penalty shootout, and they will be familiar to this situation.
We've got Thomas Flack starting the shootout here for the Snipers, picking up the puck and just running it in. He goes for a little bit of a topsy-turvy, goes for a shot, and it's kicked away by Woodlands.
Woodlands draws the first save, so the Snipers didn't score on the first one. Who are the Inferno going to put up for their first shot? Will it be the Flying Frenchman Hector Vrilnik? No, it's going to be... Can you read that number from here?
I certainly can't. Running it in.
Nikitin.
And goes for a shot and he scores! Matty Nikitin for Inferno, first shot in the shootout.
And you made that pretty... There is a bit of a golden rule of penalty shootouts, and that is you must put the puck on the net. Sounds kind of obvious, but there's no point trying to get rebounds. You must put the puck on the net and make the goalie work for it. So the second shot here for the Snipers is going to be Logan Gallagher. What will he do to try and score a goal? He goes out wide. He's trying to make the goalie move from one side to the other. Comes inside, he takes a shot, puts it through the 5-hole of Seb Woodlands. And we have 1 goal apiece. Gallagher making no mistake there at all. And you can see he comes on, just makes the goalie have to commit a little bit, and then just drives it straight between. The 5-hole is the gap between the goalie's legs. And through it goes.
Fareez Avdalin running the puck up here for the Inferno. Picking it up, taking a little bit of cruisy here. He goes for a little topsy-turvy and he scores for the Inferno. And they've got 2 on the board.
So the pressure is now on the Snipers. This is the 3rd shot for the Snipers. If they don't score here, then the Inferno win. They've got a 1-goal lead at the moment. They're up 2-1 in the shootout. And this is the 3rd shot. So if Bradley Apps can't score this, then the Inferno will win the game.
Bradley Apps running it up. And he just gets it knocked away there by Seb Woodlands.
And so Sebi Woodlands wins the game for the Inferno. And it takes... Well, now we have no one on top. Well, we have the team. Actually, I don't know what's going to be on top of the ladder because it's going to go to a countback. Because the Inferno now have won 1 from 1. The Snipers have won 1 from 2. And the Dogs have won none from 1. So it's going to be an interesting game next week when we have the Dogs playing against the Inferno. But a fantastic game we had there. I think you would agree, Britt. That was very exciting. It doesn't get much better than going to a penalty shootout at the end. Shots at the end of the end went 37 shots to the Snipers, 41 to the Inferno. Then we had goals too, not including the penalty shootout at the finish. Logan Gallagher assisted by Webster and Dixon in the first, and Matty Nikitin assisted by Vrilnik and Kevin Dow, which squared it all up at 1-1 at the end of the first. At the end of the second, it was 3-3. Timmy Nikitin scoring first up for the Inferno, then Peng getting it back for the Snipers. Peng again scored a second one. He was assisted by Nave and Gallagher that time around, which took the Snipers out to a 3-2 lead with just 1 minute and 9 seconds to play in the second. But they got a bit lazy, I think, a little bit complacent. Matty Nikitin snuck one in with just 7 seconds to go at the end of the second, which squared it up at 3 goals apiece. The third was a drought. No one managed to get anything past the goalies. They both had outstanding games. Not a lot of success. No goals at all in the third. Shots on the third, however, 12 shots to the Snipers, 21 to the Inferno there in that third period. So the Inferno had a lot of play, but they couldn't convert it. They had a couple of really good scoring opportunities that I think they'd be a little bit disappointed missing. And the Keaton boys very nearly got a good tip in for a wide open net, but just couldn't quite connect to it. Tommy Forrest was probably breathing a huge sigh of relief there at the end of that one. But it wasn't to be in the end for the Snipers in a penalty shootout. In the end, it was Apps who did the damage, and the Snipers going down to the Inferno in that penalty shoot at the finish. So coming up here at IceHQ, the next round of the Pro League will be Friday the 15th at 7:30 p.m. and that will be between the Inferno and the Dogs. The Dogs will be hungry for a win. They were expecting to win last week and they didn't. I think they'd be a bit cranky about that. We know they are a team that's chosen to win very much. So Jamie Burke likes to win games of hockey probably more than anyone else you're ever likely to meet. Here at IceHQ, though, we've got more hockey than you can poke a stick at. The rest of this weekend is full of hockey. What we're seeing Saturday at 7:30 p.m. and again Sunday at 4 p.m. it's the Women's Ducks exhibition game between the Ducks and the Sydney Sirens. The Sydney Sirens have come down here to play against the Melbourne Ducks for 2 games, and this is part of the Melbourne Ducks' attempt to get into the Australian Women's Ice Hockey League for the next season. To do that, they need to play a series of exhibition games against teams that are currently in the AWIHL in order to show that they're a viable option and they're not going to dilute the competition and a whole heap of other things. So we will be seeing them play here tomorrow, 7:30 p.m, the Women's Ducks exhibition game versus the Sydney Sirens, and again on Sunday at 4 for the same. I don't know about you a bit, but I can't wait. Bring it on.